You got a couple dollars to spend and you're thinking about buying some studio monitors. What do you go with? The Neumann KH310A or Adam Audio's A8H? Today, we're going to be talking about which one you should go with. What's poppin', gang? I'm 30 Killer Beats. Today, we're going to be looking into if you have a little bit of money to spend, regardless of the budget, and you're looking at the Neumann KH310A and the Adam Audio A8H, which one should you get? Personally, I've been having really fun with these speakers. I've been using them for a while now, and I kind of understand the differences and the strength and weaknesses of each, and who these are for. Before we jump into the sound quality, let's just break this video down into 3 important things you got to understand. First off, the price for each one of these speakers. The Neumann will cost you about $5,000 if you want to get both of these speakers. So you got to get both, left and right. For the Adam Audios, they come in around $3,000. That is up to you on what you want to do. Maybe you have a couple dollars to spend. I think once you get to around $3,000, you're starting to get to more of a preference instead of, how much money you should spend. But we're jumping to the sound quality on what I mean by that. Next, let's jump into the design. Both of these speakers are some very beautiful looking speakers. Depending on how your setup is, these speakers do prefer you to have them horizontal. Even the Adam Audios has an H in their name with the A8H. For it being horizontal, so you have to lay these down. You can turn these vertical if you want to. Unscrew these little bolts here on the Adam Audios and you can turn this vertical if you really prefer it that way and your desk is set up that way. But they were designed to be horizontal as well as the Neumanns. Theoretically, you could possibly turn these around as well, but why go against what they were designed to do? The Adam Audios do have an RCA where you can use that for home theaters setups and stuff like that, versus with the Neumanns is basically only XLR. If you're a person that like to mount their speakers, the Adam Audio does have a way for you to mount them on the bottom of the speaker. There's mounting points there. On the Neumanns, they do have a little bit more mounting points where you can mount the speakers on the sides, on the back. Pretty good if you're a person that like to mount your speakers. You might want to lean more towards Neumann. The Adam Audio A8H speaker is a little bit bigger than the Neumanns, so depending on if how big you want the size to be, I will put the dimensions on how tall and wide these speakers are. Next, let's jump into the sound quality. Before we do that, we got to jump into the sponsor of today's video, themusicgang.com. If you're looking for Pro Tools templates, FL Studio templates, make sure you guys check out themusicgang.com. That's my personal website where you can download templates to help you save a lot of time. Also, there are free loop kits. Go ahead and check it out. Link in the description. Also, if you want to book me for mixing and mastering, you could also use that website. Check it out, themusicgang.com. So let's go ahead and talk about the sound quality. I also use SonarWorks for my room to get a full spectrum to hear both of these studio monitors side by side, and definitely check those out as well if you're looking to get a better studio sound. Most studio monitors have a flat frequency response, but as soon as you put them in your room, they do change. So I use SonarWorks to get a better response out of my room. I've noticed something with the Adam Audio speakers that I didn't notice with the Neumann speakers. The Adam Audio speakers has some really nice, detailed, crispy highs and stuff like that, and the Neumanns do have some good decent highs. It's just not as superior as the Adam Audio's highs. Understand that if you're a person who really wants to hear the highs and really full in detail, you definitely want to go with the Adam Audios for sure. That's not to say that the Neumanns have bad highs on their speakers. They don't. They have really good highs and I like them. It's just more tolerable, more listenable, versus like the Adam Audios is super detailed and crispy, and personally it may get a little bit fatiguing over time. That's just my personal preference. You may be a different type of person who might like that. You might want to have the highs just super crazy, just I don't know. The highs on the 310A just sound a little bit more natural and just a little bit more tolerable. It could take a little bit more levels versus like the Adam Audios. A lot of highs can jump out really fast, and you'll be able to understand if something's really like sharp in highs because the Adams would broadcast that really quickly. So if your focus is what's in that high range, definitely go for the Adam Audio. Next, let's talk about the mids. Now, personally, this one is kind of hard to choose. I don't feel like either one had better mids than the other. I felt like the Neumanns has some really detailed and punchy mids in a way where it's just like three-dimensional and just feels really, really nice. The Adam Audios has some really great mid drivers as well, and the way how the speaker is set up, they shoot the sound out, and I really like that a lot. I don't know, I just can't really say either speaker had better mids than the other one. They both had no issues at all. But what I can tell you is that the lows. Now let's talk about the lows. Now I can tell you that the lows on the Adam Audios A8H sound really, really good. They do sound very analytical. You know, if you're mixing and mastering, I would say that the very low sounds, like the very low bass, is not really up in your face like that. You can hear it, but it's not in your face, you know, like the super lows. You can definitely hear it, but it's just not in your face. Versus with the Neumann 310As, it almost feels like you don't really need a sub because it has so much lows. Now with the lows with the Neumann studio monitors, I noticed that it almost felt like you didn't really need a sub because the super lows were in your face, you know, versus like with the Adam Audios, the lows were very noticeable. The Adams do have a lot of attack, but not in a very boomy way. Versus like with the Neumanns, it has way more bass, you know, in your face. And you can basically see in the graph here that I use from Sonar Works that the Neumanns basically had more low end. When I'm flipping between the two, more highs on the Adam Audios. The Adam Audios sound a little bit more modern because you can really hear those crispy high ends, and it almost sound like you can really use this as a reference for like really high end headphones and stuff like that. Like you could really tell exactly what they will probably be listening to, versus like the Neumanns is just straight accurate, just straight natural, nothing else, and that's all you're gonna get. Honestly, I think you should get both of these studio monitors if you can, because you can use the Neumanns to really focus on the low end to get a more accurate sound, and you can use the Adam Audios for the high end to get a little bit more accurate highs and stuff like that, so you can get a full spectrum. I feel like if you get the Adam Audios, you kind of want to get a sub just to bring those super low end noises up a little bit more in your face, to really focus and get an accurate reading for those low ends. I use Sonar Works to kind of help with that, but I do feel like it's still missing just a little bit more in the low end, like the super lows. I'm talking about like, you know, 30 hertz, 20 hertz, stuff like that, where I feel like a subwoofer would definitely really shine at with the Adam Audios. The Neumanns, I don't feel like you really need a sub. You could definitely get a sub to help with that, bring the low ends even up even more. Honestly, I've noticed when I use the sub with the Neumann speakers, it almost felt like only thing I was really doing was just moving the low end down a little bit, you know what I'm saying, in the position of where it was actually coming out of, you know what I'm saying, versus like with the Adam Audios, I felt like the sub was helping the sound, you know what I'm saying. I can feel more lows, I can hear it more. It's more in your face, versus with the Neumanns, the low end's just in a different area. That's all it is. I can still hear the lows regardless if I had a sub or not with the Neumann speakers. Let me know what you think. You know, which speakers is for you? Are you a person that wants to focus more on the low end, or are you a person that wants to focus more on the high end? You know what I'm saying? Do you want to focus more on the high end? Get the Adam Audios A8H. If you like bass heavy music and you want to focus more on the low end, definitely go with the Neumanns, because you can definitely tell exactly what's going on down there, for sure, without a sub, with or without a sub, for sure. Let me know what other gear you want me to review on this channel. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads. I'm on Threads, guys. Now I'm on X too. Maybe you guys are on X or getting off X. I'm more so on Threads than X. You guys stay safe. Peace.